huge exam, a trip to Hawaii, and just sorting out some personal stuff stopped me in my tracks, so I do apologize for the wait. So Black Panther is quite possibly the biggest film of 2018, surpassing The Avengers as the world's highest grossing superhero flick. In addition to raking in some astronomical box office numbers, Black Panther is also the most tweeted about film according to Time magazine. I don't belong on any side of the political spectrum, so I'm not going to be partaking in any extremist arguments about the film on either side of the false liberal versus conservative paradigm. Instead, I'm going to judge Black Panther as a standalone film and call it like I see it. So following the death of his father T'Chaka in a terrorist attack, T'Challa returns home to assume his rightful position as king of Wakanda, a thriving, technologically advanced African nation masquerading as a third world country. When a gunrunner named Ulysses Crow sells a slab of powerful Wakandan metal known as vibranium on the black market, a shift in the international balance of supremacy is practically imminent. Meanwhile, a former Black Ops soldier with a tragic backstory going by the name Eric Killmonger shows up at Wakanda's border and challenges T'Challa for the role of monarch in a fatal fight to the finish. Black Panther is quite possibly Marvel's most politically charged effort since Captain America Civil War hit the silver screens a couple of years ago. I believe what distinguishes Black Panther from its counterparts is its graying of the black and white paradigm of good and evil via emphasis on the conditions that basically prescribe the character's notions of morality and integrity. Character motives are grounded in the actualities of contemporary injustices like racism, poverty, refugee crises, and colonialism, and I believe the linchpin that these issues intersect with would be foreign policy. In particular, Black Panther is somewhat of a discourse between isolationism and intervention that is spurred by the circumstances influencing the perspectives of T'Challa and Killmonger. As Todd Vanderwerf writing for Vox notes, the screenplay balances these two characters well by giving each what their opponent desires the most. T'Challa throughout the film is trying to find his purpose while Killmonger is most certain of his. However, T'Challa has Wakanda's respect, something that Killmonger so desperately craves. As the new monarch of Wakanda, T'Challa has every intention of adhering to the country's neutralist policies which have kept its sovereignty and prosperity intact throughout the course of history. That means complete isolation from the assorted problems of quarreling governments and refraining from going on the offensive unless Wakanda's national security was directly threatened by outsiders. One character whose name I don't remember also warns T'Challa that bringing in refugees into Wakanda would only bring their problems into the country. Most importantly, he wishes to maintain the secrecy of Wakanda's wealth and technological superiority, as its discovery will certainly attract the attention of the whole world. I'd be most concerned about a collective Western invasion, as there is no telling what these colonialist superpowers will do to get their hands on this African nation's desirable resources that would undoubtedly make them obscenely richer than they already are. Given the US's dastardly tendency to overthrow the governments of independent, resource-laden, and non-compliant nations it sees as beneath them, my guess is they would assemble a coalition of so-called free nations to plunder Wakanda under the pretense of replacing an undemocratic monarchy with democracy. But then we've got Eric Killmonger coming into the picture, and this guy is Marvel's most realized and sympathetic antagonist. As the young son of an undercover Wakandan, he was rendered an orphan by his own countrymen on account of reasons I shan't be disclosing. Growing up impoverished in the rough streets of Oakland, California, and subsequently partaking as a well-oiled cog in the imperialistic blood-drunk US war machine, Killmonger has seen racism inside out in a myriad of ugly manifestations. He sees the leaders of Wakanda with their isolationist policies as selfish, privileged, and morally nullified. With Wakanda's technological supremacy powerful enough to liberate the impoverished and practically subjugated African population, the nation distanced itself from the world with a disregard for the plight of the oppressed. Killmonger believes that by using Wakanda's technology to reverse the racial and colonial hierarchies, the world can then be ruled the right way. But what makes his character villainous is a reason as old as time itself. Radicalism begetting radicalism, the pillaged becoming the pillager, you get the idea. This particular situation is similar to the heartbreaking ending of American History X, but on a grander scale, perpetuating the all too familiar cycle of racism and violence. In Black Panther's case, I think we can add imperialism to the pile, because I guarantee if we were to speak to any colonialist from any side, they'll claim that their way is the right way for the world. This is why the second act is perhaps Black Panther's pinnacle. It broaches a motherload of realities regarding injustice and power. As Todd Vanderwerf notes, the questions asked by this film are fundamental to how the world world is built. They are rather hefty in their complexity, which is why I feel the third act was rather hollow in comparison to the rest of the film. The validities and fallacies of T'Challa and Killmonger's convictions introduce so many gray zones that can't simply be resolved with a typical CGI Marvel extravaganza pitting the good guys versus the bad guy and resolved just like that. I don't know about you guys who have seen the film, but to me, the film seemed to shrug off some of the truths in Killmonger's arguments. As much as we disapprove of his clearly violent intent, there is no falsehood in his belief that the current system has failed. If Killmonger had Wakanda's respect, would he be any different from, say, a revolutionary? And let's level with ourselves here, how many of those types have a squeaky clean moral record? Probably none of them. But the silver lining here is that moviegoers' opinions on how things played out are varied. This paves the road for discussion, putting things into perspective and basically allowing us to acquire new insights about civilization and how it's built. Black Panther begs us to make the juxtaposition of our own imperfect world, which is assembled through bloody, immoral means, with Wakanda, a superior nation that was built through peaceful means but at the expense of the oppressed. In my humble opinion, Black Panther doesn't yet reach the exorbitant heights of Watchmen in the thought provocation department. However, it is quite refreshing to see a Marvel Cinematic Universe entry directly addressing relevant issues and encouraging viewers to intertwine them with circumstances and history as a whole. Black Panther is yet another smashing success in Marvel's reputable cinematic repertoire, and I do recommend you see it on the silver screen while you still have the chance. So I'm gonna give Black Panther an 8. So these are my thoughts on Black Panther. What did you think of the film? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like what I do, give me a like, hit that big subscribe button, stay tuned, and I will see you on the next one.